Are you just learning about HR services in the HRSD module? Or are you trying to get a handle on how an HR service is configured? In this video, you will learn how to configure an HR service using the HR Service Configuration Left Nav module. The first thing we'll do is click All in the top menu to get to the left nav. Then type HR Service Configuration in the search. Then click the HR Service Configuration link. In this list view, we have the configured HR services. I'll click New in the upper right-hand corner to create a new HR service. Now that we've opened a new HR service configuration form, let's begin. From here, I will type in a name for my new HR service. The value field gets automatically populated based on the HR service name. Badge can be used to show to the end user which department fulfills this service. I can select a fulfillment type. The fulfillment types are used to determine the way that the HR service is fulfilled, whether there is automation in the fulfillment or it is manual. For now, we are going to select manual. Topic detail and topic category are how HR services are categorized internal to the HR organization. The topic detail relates to the topic category and the topic category to the COE. When I select a topic detail, it auto-populates the topic category and the COE, which is the Center of Excellence table. In the description field, we can add a description describing our HR service. Here we have the active flag. Then showcase to subject person. When this is unchecked, the subject person on the case will not have visibility into the case. Here you can select a record producer, which will create HR cases for this service. The reference field will only give you options for the record producers that create cases on the COE table of this HR service. The COE selected earlier. Case options allow you additional functionality on the HR service. For example, you can add the functionality to not allow users to cancel their own cases for this service. You also have the option to create your own case options that execute custom functionality. HR criteria are similar to user criteria in which you are creating a grouping of users based on one or more conditions. However, HR criteria are used to determine the user population in which an HR case for a particular HR service can create it on behalf of. Open for /approval view and subject person /task assignee view. These two are the configurations that determine what fields are displayed for the respective opened for or approver and subject person or task assignee when viewing the HR case from the portal. Case Creation Service Config. This is the configuration for this service on the Case Creation module. This allows you to display different fields related to the service when creating a new HR case from the native and workspace views. The list collector's service table fields and subject person related lists are used to configure the HR case form for this service. The service table fields gives a list of fields you can select to which you want to display on the HR case form. The subject person related lists gives the related list associated with the subject person to which you can select to show on the HR case form for this service. Since the form has been saved, you will note that we can now configure or select a template. Also, here we can configure checklist items for the agents on the HR case form. Let's now revisit the fulfillment types. As of this recording, there are 6 different fulfillment types. They are the manual, service activity, lifecycle event, workflow, advanced, and flow. For the lifecycle event type to appear, you will need to activate the lifecycle event plugin. A manual fulfillment type means that there are no other configurations in the fulfillment of this HR service. Service activity means activities such as tasks, approvals, or child HR services will be the method to fulfill this service. When selecting service activity, you will note a few things. 1. At the bottom of the screen, you will see the related list, Service Activities appears. Here you will be able to create your activities. 2. The checkbox, Automatically Close Case appears. When selected, you can set when to automatically close the case, either when all to-dos are complete or when mandatory to-dos are complete. You can also set a close offset, which is the amount of days before the case closes after the close when condition is met. According to ServiceNow documentation, the maximum days you can set is 90. However, this is ignored if close when is set to mandatory to-dos are complete and there are no mandatory tasks. Workflow means that the automation for fulfilling this service will occur through a workflow. When selecting Workflow for the fulfillment type, you will notice that the Read-Only Workflow field appears. For this field to be populated, you must set the workflow in the template of this HR service. Lifecycle event means that a lifecycle event will be the method at which this service will be fulfilled. When selecting this, the field on the lower right hand, Lifecycle Event Type, appears. There is where you select the lifecycle event for this service. Advanced allows for a combination of a workflow, service activities, and/or lifecycle event to fulfill the HR service. Flow allows you to select a flow to fulfill this HR service. You will see that when I select Flow, the Flow field appears. I can add my flow to this field, however, for the flow to trigger a condition for the HR service needs to be added to the trigger condition of the flow. In this video, we discuss the mandatory and optional fields needed to configure an HR service. There are 3 components to consider when configuring an HR service. They are: 1. The Center of Excellence table in which cases for this HR service will be created. 2. The fulfillment type, the avenue in which this HR service will be fulfilled. 3. The HR criteria, the population in which cases for this HR service can be created on behalf of.